I grew up where mornings smelt of wet stone and iron rails, where kettles boiled before light and men left home already tired. My father did his service too, 10 years down the mine. 10 years of darkness and dust, of lungs learning the weight of the earth. And he did his time for coal and country, owed, underpaid, unquestioned. Then he surfaced, traded tunnels for tracks, worked the railway line, making sure that people got to where they needed to go, carrying the country forward without ever really being seen. But it's my grandfather that I see when I close my eyes and remember those days. A bag on each shoulder, coal sacks biting into bone, cloth carving time into his back. A feat of strength for a man born when the century had barely learned to walk. He moved slowly, not from weakness, but from history. Each step deliberate, like the ground deserved respect after all it had taken from him. Coal dust followed him everywhere, into his cuffs, his breath, his years. And he didn't complain, men of his age and his time rarely did. They just lifted and carried on. And the coal shed was never full enough, and winter was always arriving first. And pride wouldn't let him stop. Then came the breaking years. 1984, a winter that didn't end. I was 7, barely a boy, barely a child really. Watching life through infantile eyes that saw too much. Voices on the television spoke of strength, and that meant hunger. Spoke of necessity, and that meant towns like ours. Men, Normanton men, men, Charleston men, amongst the old guard. Standing on the picket lines in thin coats, not shouting, standing, breath rising like quiet defiance. Their silence louder than any speech. And the police arrived, dressed for war, batons heavy, with permission. Standing toe to toe with working men, recast as enemies. Their hunger framed as a threat. And I watched women learn new maths, how to stretch tins, how to smile through fear, how to tell children with fine while cupboards answered back. And still my grandfather carried coal, a bag on each shoulder, long after strength should have left him, long after the country had. Each sack a refusal, each step a memory, each breath an argument against being erased. When the pits closed, the town didn't scream, it settled in a saddened state. Even today, many of those communities are still semi-desolate. They display the dust-laden dry bones, a memorial to yesteryear, to poverty and pneumoconiosis, those black-lunged blues. Shops shut their eyes, dreams folded themselves smaller. Silence learned our names, but memories stayed out loud. The scrape of coal on concrete, the hiss of a kettle, the rhythm of rails at dawn. I grew up between those sounds, between iron and coal, learning that dignity doesn't retire, it just changes its clothes. That service doesn't end, it just finds another way to show up. I'm from that place, from coal dust and iron rails, from men who gave their backs so others could move forward, from Thatchers Britain, but shaped by those it tried and failed to forget. But I won't.